Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we look at the latest comics and other media featuring the Transformers. In this episode, the threat of Cobra just keeps growing as we review Skybound's G.I. Joe number 4. Today is Friday, February 21st, 2025, and this is episode 430, Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that always sends in the CEOs to do the dirty work. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
The amazing and awesome producer and editor, Mike.
I think I need to see some receipts on this truly excellent claim. Specifically on me.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
I am the CEO now. Let's talk Transformers.
So you do the dirty work.
I do work. I
Like new episodes of Big Bots?
Ooh.
No, I get other people to do that. CEOs don't do any real work. You should know that.
You
They just take
delegate.
credit.
Anyway, we start the show by thanking our Donatrons. Those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you all so much for continuing to support the show. If you are not a Donatron and would like to become one, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. You get some bonus content for being a Donatron, and along with other perks. And that bonus content includes our bonus show, We Like Big Bots. That's available on our Patreon page. These are YouTube videos of Daryl and Dr. Pants showing off the biggest bots in their collection. So there are 14 episodes right now on our Patreon page that you can check out. And we've still got our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. It's on hiatus for a little while, but in the meantime, we've got a side story show that is coming out right now. And Mike, you're going to tell us all about it.
That I am, Charles. So we, and by we I mean a couple of folks that I know here: Matt from Empire of Rust, Dr. Pants from the main show, and Brandon, one of the voice actors who stars in Empire of Rust, got together last year to put together a video actual play using the Transformers RPG system from Renegade Games. We got together, recorded the whole thing, put it up on YouTube, and we got 5 episodes that are coming out, 2 of which, the prologue and episode 1, should already be in your feeds, and episode 2 should be out in just a couple of days on Monday. And it was a really great time. Really shows off the system of this of the Transformers RPG from Renegade, and just a really fun time. Really good session. Once we are done with this, we're going to get back to the main episodes of Empire of Rust as well. So I strongly encourage all of you to go take a listen. If you're not up for the YouTube and actually watching like a couple hours of content, will show up on the audio feed, so no fear on that. But either way, it's going to be a great time. So please give a listen.
All right. Yeah. So as Mike said, you can watch that on YouTube, or you can go to transmissionspodcast.com/rust, and you can access the audio feed on our website and listen or watch or both, and take advantage of it.
Now, Charles, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited do you think Daryl is for this?
Got to be 11.
That's great. That's great. Like whenever a new episode of Big Boss comes out, I'm like stoked. I can't wait.
That's good. I do it for you, Mike.
Excellent. I appreciate that.
This is a good jumping on point since it's a self-contained set of episodes here, so anyone could jump right in,
Anyone.
watch them.
We got to get those mythical new listeners.
Including Daryl.
It's true. There's a very strong possibility that I won't listen.
Aw.
It's okay. I knew what this was. I got to lock up behind a paywall. Maybe he'll be interested.
That's right. Yeah. You show me some skin and I'm in.
And of course, we've still got our exclusive Transmissions commissioned Skybound Transformers #1 comic. And the cover art was commissioned we commissioned artist EJ Sue to do the cover art. You can get that at transmissionspodcast.com/comic. And you order it from our website and we will ship it right to you. And lastly, we've got our Toy Hacks February promo code. That code is Love Missions. So save 15% off all your Toy Hacks purchases with that code Love Missions. And you can use that until the end of February. So you've got another week or so, and that code will still be good. All right, let's get into the show. We're going to start off with some comics news. All right, a bunch of trade paperbacks are already up for pre-order on Amazon.com, and these are trade paperbacks of books that are not even out yet. So here we've got Skybound's Transformers Volume 4 trade paperback. You can pre-order that. We have not gotten any of these issues released in as comics yet. So it collects issues 19 through 24 and a story from the Energon Universe Special 2025. So none of those we have seen yet. The Energon Universe Special is coming out on Free Comic Book Day in May. Issue 19 comes out starting in April. So we've still got about 7 or 8 months or so before all these issues come out, and then they get collected in the trade paperback, which will probably be out in 2026. So it says November 2025. That's when it'll be released. So if you're waiting for the trade, that's when you got to wait to get the full story.
Is this going to be like the end of Daniel Warren Johnson's run?
I believe so. Yes. Yeah. So we don't know what's coming after this.
It's also the start of a new artist.
Yes, that's right. We've also got the Volume 3 trade paperback of Void Rivals, and that is available for pre-order as well. This collects issues 13 through 18 of Void Rivals. So we have gotten 13 through 16 of those issues. So we're waiting on 2 more issues. But yeah, that's also available on Amazon, and that will be released June 10th, 2025. And we've got additional printings of Transformers and Void Rivals #1. So this is 11th printings of these comics here. So
damn,
I don't know what to say at this point.
When's enough enough,
Yeah, I don't know.
People are still buying them. What can you do?
It's because Transformers fans are stupid, and we're gonna just buy it because it says Transformers on it.
Buy our Transmissions comics; those are still first printings. Don't get the 11th printing. But yeah, well, it's available if you want. You can get it. Void Rivals #1 11th printing. Transformers #1 11th printing, Transformers #2 7th printing, Transformers #3 5th printing, Transformers #6 4th printing, and Transformers #8 3rd printing, and Transformers #11 3rd printing. Okay. And Transformers number 12, second printing, and Transformers number 13, third printing.
Yeah.
Transformers number 14, second printing.
Yeah, there's some new Jason Howard ones there.
Yeah. The Jason Howard ones are great. I mean, I love those, but even I can't collect all those.
The one with Starscream is the is just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And he did the art on those 2 issues, so that's a nice nice callback there.
Come on, bud. Full Shelton. You can do it.
I think Skybound broke them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a while, but we got there.
And speaking of Skybound, it looks like Void Rivals is going to be delayed a month or at least a few weeks. So Void Rivals number 17 was supposed to come out next week. Now they're saying March 12th, I believe, which is Frank Welker's birthday and my birthday. So that's nice.
Sure they did that on purpose?
Yes. So
the day after my son's birthday, just so everyone knows.
Several months before my birthday.
Mine too.
All right. Well, that's all the comics news. Let's jump into our comic review.
All right, we're going back into the Energon universe with G.I. Joe number 4, written by Joshua Williamson, art by Tom Riley, colors by Jordi Belair, letters by Russ Wooten, editor is Ben Abernathy. And the book starts with the Joe team racing away on motorcycles in DC traffic with Dr. Monet holding on to Duke and screaming that they're all crazy. Risk says that they only have about a 40% chance of surviving this, but Duke doesn't want to be told the odds. They just need to keep moving, and when they're surprised by the Crimson twins, Xamot and Tomax. The twins have a vehicle that with more weaponry than the Joes are ready to handle, and missiles are fired on them that knock the escaping Joes off their bike. Risk lowers his estimation to 15% now, and Duke says that they need to hurry and go on foot until they can get back up. Unfortunately, Baroness notes that the backup has already shown up, only it's for Cobra. Risk and Baroness begin to fight the new arrivals as Duke protects Dr. Monev, but he notices a bigger problem. Civilians are getting caught in the crossfire, so Duke tosses down his gun and orders his team to surrender rather than risk anyone else getting hurt. The other part of the Joe team, CoverGirl and Stalker, still recovering from his surgery. The other part of the Joe team, CoverGirl and Stalker, still recovering from his previous injuries, have arrived at a secret bunker in Shenandoah National Park. The army troops there have never heard of G.I. Joe and believe that these two are there to steal the brainwave scanner, but Stalker tells them that they just need to return it to the secure storage. Suddenly, Chameleon takes out the army soldiers with her sniper rifle as the two Joes take cover. They manage to get into the truck with the brainwave scanner, but Stalker started bleeding from his midsection. CoverGirl thinks he's been shot, but he's just blaming a stitch from his surgery. Then they try to get the truck out, but the front end is suddenly destroyed as the Dreadnoks arrive. Ripper's excited to try out his new laser gun, but Chameleon recognizes the two Joes and tells her that Destro might prefer these two alive after giving Mercer so much trouble previously. In Springfield, Destro and Mercer have recovered the body of the Cobra law agent that tried to kill Cobra Commander. As far as everyone else is concerned, the body was destroyed, but Destro was interested in knowing some more of the commander's secrets. The body itself was blue and wearing a fake human skin, and the knife he had was a strange material, but definitely not metal. Destro says that Cobra Commander can have his secrets for now as long as they get their Energon, but once they can make their own, the deal's going to change. Hiding behind a table in the room, Clutch is listening in, and he notices 3 containers of what he suspects is the Energon that they were talking about. Suddenly, red lights start flashing and a siren goes off. Clutch thinks he's been caught, but Destro and Mercer leave the room wanting to know what's going on. As the forces are moving out, Clutch seizes an opportunity to get away, and he hops onto one of the leaving helicopters. Destro asks Scrap Iron why everyone is leaving, and apparently Cobra Commander has ordered everyone to meet up at Mars headquarters. Arriving back at his headquarters, Destro is demanding to know what's going on. Chameleon's already there, and she tries to calm him down, telling him that she and Ripper had followed his lead and got the brainwave scanner before getting an order to return here. Then Mercer points out that the twins have arrived with Monev in hand. Ripper asks what the brainwave scanner was, as it wasn't the easiest job to recover, and Monev says that it can change memories, remove or implant new ones, and the government thought that it was too dangerous. Cobra Commander arrives and says that it was too dangerous, but he plans on using it to create a new world order. Destro demands to know why everyone's here. Commander wasn't ready to risk Springfield's location just yet, as the Joes have been on their tail at nearly every step. He plans on using the brainwave scanner and some other technology that they've acquired, power them with Energon, and create a brainwave bomb. This terrifies Mercer until the Commander says that it's not a bomb that's going to kill everyone, but it'll send a message to anyone in the blast radius with 2 words: obey Cobra. Monev is on board and says that they'll need a trial run, and the Commander anticipated this and says that it's good that they have guests. In a holding facility, Stalker and CoverGirl are thrown in with the other Joes. Then they're all forced out in shackles. Baroness is still upset that Duke surrendered so quickly, but he tells them that they shouldn't be giving up. He's got a plan, and he needs them to trust him. They've got Cobra right where they want him, as they're walked into a room full of Cobra forces and guns pointed at them. To be continued. So I thought this was pretty fun. It's kind of pulling all the pieces together. I am anticipating that this brainwave bomb thing is going to end up with Baroness on the side of Cobra, like she was in all other aspects of G.I. Joe. I can't really see anyone else on the team kind of turning to the other forces, but I also figure that Duke knows that Clutch is there and Clutch is gonna be the key to getting them free. All of that was kind of telegraphed. I thought the action though was really good, and the art was really nice. I loved kind of seeing, like, before they even mentioned the civilians, I saw there was like one panel you could see like civilians being affected. And I love that they put that in there and then called it back. And I thought the pacing was great. The art was really good. And the story, I'm getting into it with the Energon stuff. And I don't know, it's getting into more familiar G.I. Joe versus Cobra battles. So I thought it was pretty enjoyable. Mike, we haven't really talked with you about a lot of the G.I. Joe books. What were your thoughts on this?
So this one and all of the rest, like, they're interesting books. I think the biggest problem that I have is just I'm not really invested in the universe, or not the universe, but in G.I. Joe as a thing on its own. But leaving that behind, and I understand that, okay, it's not going to be for everyone. It's not really for me. But leaving all that behind and just looking at the actual issue for what it is, it was a pleasant read. There was a lot of action to it. Pacing, I will agree, it was actually very spot on. There wasn't any point where I thought the book was was slowing down or anything, but it also wasn't such a breakneck pace that you couldn't follow along with it. So I think pacing wise was good. Art was solid. The action was good, was interesting. While I'm not, again, invested in the characters or anything, it was still a very fun read. And I think that's, at least for me, that's probably as good as a Joe book can get right now. And yeah, I will say that I think it is a little too cartoony for my taste. And I may have the same complaints about the Transformers book too. But yeah, like the CEOs of Extensive Enterprises, the Tomax and Xamot, they're coming out and actually doing like the grunt work, the dirty work of Cobra.
Yeah.
It's like, why would You're the fucking CEOs of like a multinational corporation here. Why are you doing this? Why are you putting yourself in danger like this? Just to dress up in costume and then do some terrorist attacks. Come on. You have nothing to prove here.
Yeah. Well, they just, I don't know. It kind of fits. If you didn't read the Destro book, I'm guessing, but it kind of fits what they were introduced as.
I skimmed it. I may have skimmed it when we looked at like the first one. I think I was on for one of the reviews. But yeah, I think it comes back to the same thing. It's just I'm not invested enough to really like remember or care about the characters. Yeah. All I'm kind of seeing is, oh hey, like here are the characters from the cartoon. Here's the characters from the toys, and here they are doing things like they did back in the old cartoon. So yeah, okay. So it doesn't feel like it's like treading new ground, but it was still an entertaining read.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering, do I go to Daryl, who I can kind of guess his opinion, or go to Charles? Let's get Daryl out of the way.
You gotta sandwich the bad between the good, right?
Yeah. What do you think, Daryl?
I didn't like it. I mean, you got the word Energon in there twice.
You actually got Energon itself in there on one panel.
I mean, what you presume is Energon.
Well, it's blue and glowing.
I mean, he doesn't know what it is. He's assuming, right? But so, I feel like I missed the last issue because did the last issue end with them, leaving and on a firefight? Yes. So yeah, I missed the last issue.
It's a good thing I have it right here.
That's fine. I don't care. So I am not invested at all. Like Mike said, until Transformers start showing up in this book, I could give two shits about G.I. Joe. So that is my opinion as of where this book is. I struggle to get through them. So yeah, I'm not a fan of G.I. Joe. So I do not buy the book. I read it for the show. The book, I mean, it's written fine. The art is fine. But I am not a fan of G.I. Joe. So, yeah. If this is the Energon universe, bring in some damn Transformers. Get somebody in here.
Hopefully we get that crossover soon. Charles, what was your thoughts?
I mean, I think overall the story in a vacuum is interesting and it's an action packed, action comic, which is good. But yeah, I'm having a hard time fitting this in with the Energon universe. Like in Transformers, Decepticons are destroying multiple US cities, and like the US government has done nothing at this point, or I don't know how long it's been, but it's been like, I mean, in the Transformers comic, it's been like maybe a couple of days, and there's no like response from the US military. And then in this book, which I don't know what the time scale is, like where we are here, but G.I. Joe, which apparently was formed to deal with the threat of giant robots, has like not paid attention to that at all. So I'm having a hard time understanding why are these Cobra agents able to just operate with impunity in the nation's capital with like no response from any law enforcement or military other than the G.I. Joe guys? Why why are they only like, why is the GI Joe team only 5 guys at this point? Why are they not like recruiting any more people when they like they've figured out that there's like an entire like underground paramilitary force that it's infiltrated the United States apparently. So and they're still like just sending 5 guys against them.
And there's also this whole thing happening in Washington State.
Yeah. I mean that.
Yeah,
so that's.
I
mean, I'm not gonna.
that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna ding them for that because you know you could say that this is before that happened. Like if you say this is like you know this happened before the Decepticons attacked those cities, that's fine. But yeah, I mean if it's at the same time, then yeah, why is nobody mentioning that the entire the Pacific Northwest is on fire at this point? No one's mentioning that. Yeah, so I mean that's and then I mean I wonder what's going to happen in the next issue, but Duke being so confident that like that he has Cobra right where he wants them. I mean I'm kind of tired of Duke's like just always like gung ho attitude where he thinks he can just muscle. he can just muscle his way through any situation. So
yeah,
I hope that he actually has a strategy or something up his sleeve that actually going to do something. And yeah, and then the CEOs being like right there in the action also bothers me. Like, yeah, how are you supposed to run these giant corporations when you're like you're shown like basically orchestrating terrorist attacks in the nation's capital? How are you going to go back to being running this giant company that apparently you probably have U.S. military contracts with? How is that going to work?
Yeah, we know Mars does.
Yeah. Also, the Chameleon is also the CEO of her own company. So why is she like out in the field being a sniper? And that's, I mean, and it's still a little weird for me that the girl who loved Power Glide is now a Cobra agent, but I guess she really loves Destro now. I guess they're dating or whatever. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, it's like that's why I say the action is good in a vacuum, but all these other things make the story kind of fall apart for me. So
yeah,
I hope like, I mean, I'm continuing to just enjoy it for the action, but these things are bothering me.
yeah. I mean, I guess I just don't think about it too deeply like I do with the Transformers book and the Void Rivals.
Yeah.
I mean, both of those I'm much more invested, but I don't know. I'm enjoying this for what it is.
Yeah.
I do appreciate especially the thing about the civilians and like Duke recognizing that. I mean, I feel like that was trying to replicate the thing with like Optimus Prime and the deer, kind of showing the character. So, you know, I do appreciate that part.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's I am waiting for the Transformers crossover too. So I hope that we're building to something that will make all these things fall into place. But yeah, right. I mean, I think I'm on Daryl's side here. That it's just not. It's not. I'm not invested in this. So
yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that at some point they do announce like the plan. I mean, I would imagine at San Diego Comic-Con they would need to reveal who's taking over for the Transformers book. And I don't know. I want to know just some sort of like timeline, like the crossover is going to happen we're going to have this big event or something. Just let us know.
Yeah.
But that's our comic.
Oh, one other nitpick to throw. How much time has passed since the first couple of issues? Like, how is Stalker walking around? Like, he was really hurt bad. CoverGirl was like burned on half her body. Yeah. And now they're back doing stuff. Like,
having some sense of time would be great.
Yeah.
I'm also not convinced Stalker makes it out of the next issue alive.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our book.
All right. Well, let's move on to a little bit of media news.
Okay, so a new Transformers store popped up in, or I guess it's called a pop-up store. It also popped up in Shibaya. Shibaya? I don't know.
Shibuya. Shibuya.
Shibubi? Um,
This is not
it's in
Family Guy.
Japan. It's in Japan. So if you're in Japan and you're listening to us, konnichiwa. But check this out. And so it's Shibiwa Modi Mall. And yeah, so it's opening up today, which is February 21st. And they're offering several Transformers goods. So you should be able to find the Transformers Expo 2024 official guidebook. Transformers, it's a transformable neck pillow. I want to see how this works. So, I mean, I see the pictures here. They seem kind of cool, but I want to see it in action. So somebody get one, make a video, and I want to see it. But you got an Optimus Prime and a Soundwave neck pillow. I may want one for my travels. So it would feel like a little hug from Optimus, and I want that.
Or getting strangled from by Soundwave.
Yeah,
If you're into that.
If that's your kink, then yeah, yes, you can have that. Then you can have a piece of art, G1 Marvel comic art. It's acrylic. There are 18 types in mini bags. We've got they look like the cover arts, or sorry, the covers of the comics. Holy crap. Let's do that. Yeah, so you can get the cover of the comics in some mini acrylic pieces. They're in blind bags. And the last one is Autobot or Decepticon insignia on a lenticular keychain. It might be the same keychain, actually. It's just front to back is one side, and they're lenticular. So, yeah. So they look kind of cool. But, yeah, neato. It looks like you can also get a Visa, a Transformers-themed Visa. I believe this is
two different ones.
Got to be. Yeah, they got this has got to be themed specifically for the Japanese market, but yeah, looks very cool.
All right.
I really want those comic, like the little comic pieces in acrylic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Just gotta go to Japan. The next get there next week, and you can be there when it opens, or today.
I was supposed to be there in April, and that's not happening. I'm sad.
Oh. All right. Well, that's all for media news. Let's finish up the show with some convention news.
All right, so we have some more TFCon LA announcements. We are starting off with Charlie Adler, who is the voice of Silverbolt, Trigger Happy, and Wrath in G1, and Starscream in the 2007 Transformers movie. So he will be there Saturday only. So be sure to check him out if you are going to be there. Next up, we have Benny Latham, who was the voice of Dot Malto in Transformers Earthspark. She is going to be there Sunday only. So I think they're getting a number of the Earthspark cast, which is great. And then we have Isaac Singleton Jr., the voice of Darkwing in Transformers 1. So that is awesome. I believe he will be both days. And Vince DiCola, composer for Transformers the movie and Transformers, what was that game? With the birds. Angry Birds. Transformers Angry Birds. He did the score for that. So he will be there Sunday only. So check that out. And this says he's going to have an autograph session. Doesn't say anything about panels. So, and then finally, in terms of guests, we have Greg Wiseman, who was a writer on an episode of Transformers Prime. It doesn't say here, but 3 episodes of Rescue Bots. And in talking before the show, we discovered he actually pitched some episodes for the season 3 of G1 that they didn't air. And the wiki has a link to where he posted essentially the pitch for one of the episodes. So that was really cool. And he's also done the creator of Gargoyles, Spectacular Spider-Man, and Young Justice. So he has done a lot of really cool stuff.
Yep. Also, Charlie Adler, got to mention, he's a very prolific voice actor. Mm-hmm. Buster Bunny on Tiny Toon Adventures, Rocko's Modern Life. He was Cow and Chicken.
Oh,
he was IR Baboon on I Am Weasel. And also that's in Cow and Chicken.
Lots of late 90s Cartoon Network stuff.
Yeah. So he's just been a lot. He's like one of those voices you hear in lots of different things.
Nice. And the final thing we have here in convention news is I mentioned a couple of weeks ago about a project trying to get people to scan their copies or their bits of film that they bought from Paul Davids at TFCon 2022. And they have found, I think now, more than one deleted scene that was in that roll of film where they have, thanks to the Sunbow archive, they have the storyboards and they were able to match up the film with the storyboards. And the guy behind it is asking if you're going to be at TFCon LA and you have those segments, bring them in. He wants to scan them. There's a Transformers 4K project. They're trying to scan it at very high quality and maybe be able to reanimate some of these scenes. So I have on here a page with a QR code that will help you connect with them, and they will have their scanner at TFCon LA, and they want to scan as much as they can get. So check this out. I will also see if I can get a more direct link from him. But if you have these pieces, get in touch with him, and maybe we can have a more complete episode of Cosmic Rust. So that is all we got for convention news.
Okay, and that will take us to the end of this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. So, as always, we give a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatrons at the end of every episode. These are the folks who continue to support the podcast at our highest level on Patreon, and that's why they get a mention in every episode. So thank you again to John Forex Levengood and Steve C. You guys are awesome. And thanks, everyone, for coming back and watching Transmissions Alt Mode with us, watching and listening. Mike, thanks for hanging out with us this week. And I hope everyone checks out the Empire of Rust Hate Plague special episodes that will be out in the next month or so. Episode 0 and episode 1 are out now. Episode 2 will be coming in just a couple days. So lots of good content to tide you over until the return of regular Empire of Rust episodes. So thanks so much for putting out all that good content.
It's my pleasure. It was a fun time to actually play and record it, and it'll be a fun time to experience it again.
Awesome. All right, everyone, check that out at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. And on our YouTube channel, which if you're watching this on video, you are already on our YouTube channel, so you can probably get that episode pretty quickly. So yeah, check all that stuff out, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.